Hi, this is Peter Friedrich, and today we're speaking with Saeed Rashid about the Kashmir issue. So, Saeed, I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for offering your time and being willing to express your opinions, your perspective on what's happening in Kashmir. And
Thank you very much for that.
you're from Kashmir, Saeed, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm exactly from Kashmir, Ganderbal district of Kashmir.
Okay. So tell me, Saeed, what is it about the situation in Kashmir right now that is causing you to feel like you need to express your opinion and raise your voice?
The first thing is that an important decision regarding the Kashmir issue has been taken unilaterally by the government of India. The first thing is that the stakeholders from the Kashmir Valley have not been consulted in this. Neither the other party, that's Pakistan, or you and anybody has not been informed regarding the same. So this is a unilateral decision by the government of India. So that is the need to challenge these things, that you cannot just dictate your views in case of an disputed territory. You have to consult the stakeholders. The second thing why I feel that there is a need to actually speak up right now is because there's a complete communication blackout, a complete communication gag by the Indian government on Kashmiris. Recently, even yesterday, an IS topper from Kashmir, Shah Faisal, you might have heard the name, he was arrested from New Delhi and sent back to Kashmir and put under house arrest there. We have the day before that, a a district commissioner of Anantnag, he tweeted regarding the current ground situation of Kashmir. And guess what happened to him? He has been arrested and his Twitter account has been disabled. Just imagine a district commissioner being arrested just because he made a tweet about the ground situation in Kashmir. So all those people who claim to be the stakeholders of freedom of speech, this is the best time to come up and speak against the atrocities when there's a complete communication gag on Kashmir.
So, Saeed, what's happening in Kashmir right now? Like you said, there is this complete communications blackout. There's been this ongoing blockade of Kashmir for 11 days now. And this follows in the wake of Articles 350 or 370 and 35A being scrapped and of Jammu and Kashmir being stripped of its statehood. So what's happening in Kashmir, and do you have family there? Are you in touch with them? Have you been able to contact them?
Yeah, I spoke to my family 3 times. My father calls me from a local police station, and the call usually lasts for less than 1 minute, and then it's disconnected. So all we get to talk about is he asks me, "Are you fine?" I say, "Yeah." So I ask him, "Is everybody fine back home?" He says, "Yes." And then he says, "Do you need any money?" I say, "No," and that's it. That's the only thing we get. We got to talk on these 3 calls. Regarding the situation back home, as you know that there's a complete information blackout from the Indian government regarding Kashmir. But yesterday, a couple of journalists who had gone to Kashmir after the scrapping of the Article 370, they came back to India and they wanted to hold a press meet in Delhi as only. But they were not allowed by the Press Council of India to hold that meeting. They actually had some video footage as well as some photographs that showed the ground situation in Kashmir. But unfortunately, the Press Council of India, whose actual role is to propagate freedom of speech, denied them the permission to do so. But from the statements that they made, they said children as young as 7 years old have been detained. There are mass human rights violations. There's curfew everywhere. People are not able to get to hospitals. They don't have amenities, daily amenities like food as well. And there's strict curfew in there. Oh, so I read a report about a pregnant lady who had to walk several kilometers. She wasn't allowed to move in a car, so she had to walk by foot on several kilometers in order to give birth to a child. And I have seen a footage from BBC which showed a lot of palliative victims admitted in hospitals. The Indian government has been denying such claims, but you see the footage from Al Jazeera, from BBC and independent journalists, and you get a very serious picture of Kashmir right now. The situation is very bad.
Yes, and so as you've mentioned with this communications blackout, there have been some reports, there has been some video and some video footage and some pictures that have come out of Kashmir. Just yesterday, as you mentioned, this press conference with Jean Dries and some other people who'd gone to Kashmir to do on-the-ground reporting and come back. They had taken pictures, they had produced a short documentary about what's happening. They tried to show this film at the Press Club of India in Delhi, and they were denied the right to show this film even.
Exactly.
The BBC has released footage in the past few days of a protest rally that occurred in Kashmir, and this protest rally being busted up with the firing of tear gas and possibly also bullets. And we saw in the wake of that that the Indian government denied that the rally had even occurred. So with all of this that's happening, why, Saeed, do you think that this current situation is occurring? Why is there this curfew? Why is there this blackout in Kashmir? What is the motivating factor behind this?
Well, the incident that has happened recently, the scrapping of the articles. So they are expecting a resistance from the people. The people are not going to accept it. And even after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months, whenever they scrap the curfew, whenever they remove the curfew, we can expect that there will be large-scale protests in Kashmir, as both the mainstream political leaders as well as the separatists were not taken into confidence before the scrapping of the articles. The mainstream leaders like Umar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti, Sajjad Lawan, who represented India in Kashmir, who have been actually managing Kashmir for India all these years, they have also been put under house arrest, under PSA. So what we Kashmiris expect is that after the curfew is removed, people from both mainstream as well as from separatist groups will unanimously actually revolt against this. So that's why the curfew is in place.
And as this curfew is in place after the scrapping of these articles and the stripping of statehood, the government has offered the justification for this action by saying that it's being done in order to bring development to Jammu and Kashmir, and that these articles were a hindrance to that development. Do you believe that that's true? And do you believe that the goal of development is the true motivating factor behind the latest move?
I disagree with the above statement that you just mentioned, because the constitution of Jammu and Kashmir previously permitted corporates to set up their business units in Kashmir under a 99-year lease. They could not buy the land, but they could lease it for 99 years. And 99 years is a very big time. You can set up your business, you can make money, you can contribute to development. But what was actually hindering the businesses from moving to Kashmir was the volatile nature of the state. You would never be sure that when the protesters will erupt against the Indian government and there will be a complete lockdown for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, or even a year. So I know a person who wanted to set up a KFC restaurant in Kashmir, but the KFC, I think they denied the permission. They didn't want to be involved in Kashmir. Why? Because they know it's a disputed state. Secondly, the environment there is very volatile. The restaurant may be open for 10 days, then it will have to shut for the rest of the 20 days of the month. So that's why big ventures do not want to dwell into Kashmir. It's not because of Article 35. It's not because of Article 370. It's because of the volatile and disputed nature of the state. And even after this, now that they have scrapped the articles, there is no guarantee that businesses will come and stay in Kashmir. They might come and in the heat of the moment to set up their businesses in Kashmir. But once they see that there is a complete blackout for a year, there's information gag, there is no internet, there are hostilities and killings everywhere, they might want to again wrap their businesses. Secondly, you asked about the motives behind the scrapping of these articles. So, as we all know that the mother organization of BJP is RSS. So the ideological mentor of BJP is actually RSS, and RSS has been open about these issues, about like reducing the Muslims of India to second-class citizens. So primarily, if you ask me, I would say this is an attack on Muslims primarily. Secondly, it's an attack on people of Jammu and Kashmir. Why I say this is because RSS has been very open about their criticism regarding Muslims. They do not consider Muslims as their primary citizens. They consider them secondary citizens. And if we see right from the moment in 2014 when the BJP government came into power, the first move that they took against Muslims was they banned globally renowned Islam preacher Zakir Naik. They banned him due to some whatever what was the reason. They banned him. Secondly, the cases of lynching started in India. Muslims started being lynched. So it was all under the ideological mentorship of the RSS, or we can say the high subsidy was cut out. And now we are at a moment where they are looking to cut down the privileges enjoyed by Muslims as a community or as a state. So primarily, I think this scrapping is because of cutting those privileges of Muslims. And secondly, it's an attack on Kashmiri's identity.
So as you say, you believe that the RSS is behind this latest move, that this is a implementation of the agenda of the RSS, and the RSS has this goal of making Indian Muslims into second-class citizens. But my understanding is it's not even just Indian Muslims, but it is anybody who's not a Hindu, and really anybody who doesn't support the agenda of the RSS, even if they are a Hindu. What is the end goal of the RSS? What is their final agenda?
I think they want to make a Hindu country, a country wherein Hinduism is the prevalent religion. If you do not agree with their point of view of nationalism or their religion, you do not belong here. I think it's very evident from the rallies that they have conducted. This, like a cabinet minister from the BJP garlanded those people who actually carried out the lynching of a Muslim. So it's a cabinet minister. So what message does it drive? That you are a Muslim, and if you are doing things that are legal under the constitution, but do not coincide with the RSS BJP mentality, you will still be not comfortable, you will not be safe here. So I have been talking to a lot of my friends who live in India actually. And guess what they are feeling? They are saying that we are looking forward to move out of India because the situation is deteriorating fast and fast. It is becoming very hard for the minorities, Muslims, Dalits, and other groups to actually be a part of the inclusive society here.
And we actually saw, I believe just yesterday, the acquittal of everybody, all of the accused in this case of lynching of a Muslim man, Pelu Khan, who was murdered in broad daylight in the streets. The killing was filmed. The attackers were caught on camera doing it. And yet just yesterday, everybody was set free after they were acquitted. So as this situation is what's happening, where this is how people are punished or not punished for a broad daylight lynching of a minority in India, how do you feel about the future of minorities in India?
Well, that's a completely different topic. That's for India and their minorities to settle for. So they have to see what they want. If they want to be a part of the society, the Muslims themselves, they have to raise their voices. They are terrified right now. They're under a lot of surveillance. A lot of criminal chaos take place, but they have to stand for themselves. You cannot just go about accepting everything. So at some moment of time, if you want to stay in India, you have to speak up. You have to make yourself heard. So that's how I think they have to work out. But still, it's a issue that deals with Muslims of India and India itself. So let them sort it out.
So as far as Kashmir, Saeed, you grew up in Kashmir, and Kashmir has been a conflict area, a dispute for decades. What was it like growing up in Kashmir? What's your experience been like recently or as a kid growing up in Kashmir?
So growing in Kashmir is a bit different than growing in some other part of the world. So basically, when I was a kid, I didn't know about the Kashmir issue. I wasn't familiar about it. So, but in 2008, I remember there was the first mass uprising against the Indian occupation in Kashmir, where the core issue was the state government giving some part of Kashmiri land to the Indian government for some purposes. So Kashmiris were not happy with it. So they came on streets and opposed it peacefully. I remember it was a peaceful year. Peaceful protests took place. There was hardly any stone pelting. People would usually gather in places. Thousands of Kashmiris would gather and they'll protest. They will say slogans. So in 2008, what happened was that bullets were used to counter the peaceful protesters. There were detentions, there was harassment, there was interrogations. And that was the first time my interest towards this conflict began. So I had to be at home. I was tired. I could not understand why I have to stay at home every time. I'm not able to visit my family, my relatives. I'm not able to go out playing. I'm not able to go to school. So why is this happening? So this is how my interest in Kashmir issue began. And if you look at the history, various generations of Kashmiris have dealt a link with resistance due to different events taking place. Let's take the example of my grandfather. So during the time of my grandfather, the first Prime Minister of Kashmir, the Prime Minister of Kashmir, Sheikh Abdullah, was actually arrested by the Indian government and put behind bars. And then the constitution of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, was taken by the Indian government. So that's the reason how they grew up. This is how they grew up and developed a kind of desolation while being in India. Secondly came the generation of my fathers. My father's generation saw the 90s uprising, as well as the 1987 rigged elections that took place in Jammu and Kashmir. So that's how the feeling of not being a part of the dominion of India was inculcated in their generation. And my generation has seen the mass uprising of 2008, 2010, and 2016, and now this. And now the upcoming generation, the generation of millennials, I think this is their first incident that they are going to witness. They might be wondering right now, why is it that we're not able to go outside? Why are there army men everywhere? Why not we able to go to school? Why not we able to play cricket or something? So this is how various generations of Kashmiris have seen India as a barbaric force. How we come to understand India as a barbaric force and not a country which loves us, which wants us to be with them with peace and with love. This is how our childhood is framed.
Do you feel as though the voices of Kashmiris have been given prominence or given a place at the table? Because we see the whole world, we see everybody in India talking about Kashmir, but as this discussion about Kashmir is ongoing, do you believe that the voices of Kashmiris are being given prominence in that discussion about the future of Kashmir?
Unfortunately, I don't feel so, be it in the Indian mainland or abroad. See, if you see in Indian media, uh, they just showcase a video from different states when people are enjoying and they brand it as Kashmiri celebrating on the day of Eid. I talked to my parents. Yesterday, my cousin came from Kashmir and he told me that it's curfew everywhere. People were not allowed to venture out even on the day of Eid. So the ground situation is different, and the Indian media is showing a different situation to blindfold the Indian people. So I don't think that Kashmiris are equally represented or justified in a justified represented. Rather, in Indian media at least, they are very much represented. But let me tell you one more thing is that whenever an Indian comes to Kashmir as a tourist, so they come to Kashmir, they see the environment of Kashmir, they see the people of Kashmir, they interact with them, and almost everybody has said that you people are being misrepresented in the mainland India. You are good people, you are peace-loving people, you are not people who are like radicals or extremists, but you are very much misrepresented by the Indian media. In fact, most of the people were in solidarity with us right now. A lot of friends invited me to their houses during these days. I have had a lot of calls from friends that if I need any financial support from Indian mainland who actually know Kashmiris or who have been to Kashmir. So it's a kind of a different scenario when the people who visit Kashmir actually know its reality, but the people who go by media are usually misguided.
So it's been 11 days of this blackout in Kashmir, and you have been able to speak with your family very briefly on a couple of occasions, only after they've gone to local police stations to make calls for a minute or so and just let you know that they're fine. Now, other Kashmiris that I've spoken to have not been able to communicate with their families at all in this time period. How is it? How do you feel? How is it impacting you on a personal level? This lack of communication with your family.
Uh, it's really painful. My grandfather is an anxiety patient, so I can expect that his anxiety these days when he's not able to like talk to me or to other people of our family who live in India. And the worst part is that people are not like they're not allowed to go to hospitals as well. So everything it builds up in your mind and it shapes your mentality in a certain way. Whether it's going to be pro government or against government, you can very much understand by these actions how much you are going to love the people who are doing this to you. On an emotional note, it affects us a lot. So we have been staying up all nights. I think I have not slept on any night from that day till now. We just are awake till 4, 5 in the morning. Then we have like sleep till 11 a.m. in the morning. And then again, we are just searching on internet for any sort of news coming out of Kashmir. And we spend our whole day like this, just searching for something to come out of Kashmir, somebody to talk to from Kashmir. So this is how things are going for us right now.
So, as you're looking for news to come out of Kashmir, and as you, like so many other Kashmiris, are hoping for an end to this curfew at the very least and for the lifting of this blackout in Kashmir. How do you feel about the future of Kashmir? What does it look like to you?
Well, the future of Kashmir looks very bleak. It seems as if the Indian government is looking forward to create a colony, like a colonization of Kashmir. They are going to do go about. So it does not appear to be good. You know, wherein you have military controlling everything, because people of Kashmir are not going to accept this. So you'll have to use force to control them. The people looks very bad in this situation. So at this moment, the only thing that could bring peace to the situation, that could de-escalate the situation, is the international attention from various international forums like UN, US, Russia, China, or any other European country. But unfortunately, they are not taking keen interest in this, and as such, Kashmir is like it's going towards becoming a West Bank kind of situation, or a kind of like a Syria kind of situation. It's going towards that. That's how I see the future of Kashmir lies in, unless the international forums they take keen interest in saving this state.
Well, Saeed, I want to thank you for your time. As we come to a close, is there anything else on your mind or in your heart that you want to express?
Definitely, I want the people who live outside India, I want them to raise this issue. Doesn't matter what you represent, which organization, which political party you represent. Please go on about discussions on Kashmir. Please involve Kashmiris in those discussions. Please press your governments for a peaceful resolution of this issue. We as Kashmiris do not want hostilities to escalate. We only want a peaceful solution of Kashmir, wherein the poor people of Jammu and Kashmir, people who are right now living in Jammu and Kashmir, as well as those who have left Kashmir, who are in exile, or the Kashmiri Pandits who have been removed from Kashmir. We want all of them to come back and work towards a peaceful resolution of the state. And the international media, as well as every international forum, has a very important role to play in this. So my request to them would be, please take this seriously and say it from turning into a West Bank or a Syria-like situation.
Thank you so much for your time, Saeed. I sincerely appreciate you raising your voice on this issue and expressing your feelings and how it's impacting you and your opinions, your desires about the wishes of the place of your birth, Kashmir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.